What did you do for exercise? How often did you do it? And when did you start? Many people have asked, and I know a lot of you probably have wondered, what I've done for exercise. Did I start in the beginning, and how did I go from using a walker to doing things like paddleboarding? And I kind of wanted to go through my journey with that and give some, secondary advice on how you can do things for yourself. I want to first start off by defining exercise in my terms. I view exercise as doing anything to speed up weight loss. And what I mean by that is going jogging, going running, doing jumping jacks, going to the gym for 3 hours a day, purposely to speed up weight loss. This is Amanda's definition, not the exact, but just keep that in mind when you're listening to me say the word exercise. That is exactly what I mean. You are burning calories just to burn calories. Even though you hear me all the time, calories are not a great metric, but you get the gist. What prompted me to do this video is Dr. Barry and I had a wonderful conversation. If you haven't seen that video, go check out his channel and watch it. But there's been this ginormous push to exercise. The whole adage, I heard it my entire childhood and adult life, eat less, move more, eat less, move more. And I tried eating less and moving more, and it always backfired. I ended up eating more and moving less over time. I want to talk about why it is, I think, very important to not exercise. Remember my definition of exercise, moving just for the sake of moving to make you lose weight faster, in the beginning, specifically for the obese and morbidly obese people. The first reason is, most of you guys know I have a background in physical therapy. It is not safe for the body, specifically the joints. When you are 300 pounds and trying to do jumping jacks or jog or run, all that shock is coming down on your spine and your knees. It causes tons and tons of inflammation, tearing your ACL, tearing ligaments, joints, tendons, muscles. It is all plausible because our bodies are not meant to sustain that amount of weight, specifically in intense exercise. So keep that in mind. Literally, it will lead to an injury. Watching The Biggest Loser and having them do the exercise bikes and the treadmills and stuff, it kills me watching that kind of stuff happen because it doesn't address the problem about the eating. It's just trying to get them to burn more energy. But here's the thing. The more energy you burn like that, the more you want to eat. And you end up in a net neutral most of the time when you try to just move for the sake of moving to burn energy. It is spring heading into summer, and I love paddleboarding and doing things outdoors. I brought with me my LMNT. I actually put raspberry in this. I love using it because I sweat so much being really active, and it has sodium, magnesium, potassium in it that I need. And the best part is it helps with cramps, muscle aches, headaches, fatigue, and kind of all the other stuff with low electrolytes. Something else that I really like about LMNT is it doesn't have any of the crap in it, the artificial coloring, the gluten, the fillers, all that kind of stuff in it, which works really well with my autoimmune. Don't forget, right now LMNT's offering a free 8-pack sample pack with every purchase. You just need to go to drinklmnt.com/carnivorous. That's drinklmnt.com/carnivorous. The second reason is when we are this overweight, our bodies, our metabolisms are actually extremely high. Why? Moving around, we're moving such a mass around, it takes a lot of energy to do it. But here's the thing, our cortisol levels are sky high. It is very, very stressful. And you don't even have to be overweight to exercise too much and induce high levels of cortisol, which stalls weight loss, makes you feel bad. And I've known plenty of women who have been average weight, not unhealthy, but they've exercised so much that they can't get pregnant because of their high cortisol levels. Think about it, 300 pounds trying to go jog on the treadmill 30 minutes every single day. You are just stressing yourself out. And that in itself will absolutely stall weight loss. So here's my solution. I'm not advocating sitting on a seat and not moving at all and only focusing on diet. What I advocate for is focusing on things like ADLs, those activities of daily living, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, going up and down the stairs, getting your own cup of water. The daily movements you have sprinkled throughout the day, in the mornings, evenings, whatever, that get you moving. Okay, so now let's talk about my journey and how I've gone from a literal rollator walker to paddleboarding now. I started off literally the first 2 weeks doing nothing. I just solely focused on eating. Because why? I was tired, I was lethargic, I was having diarrhea, I had the brain fog, everything that goes on with carb withdrawal, and I just solely focused on getting through that. I knew it was going to come. I was well aware of it from previous Atkins low carb keto versions before. At about week 2, I decided, okay, Amanda, you need to start moving. We live in a 3-story house. I was hardly going up and down the stairs. Some days I would just literally work from the upper floor on the laptop and not go downstairs at all the entire day. So the choice I made was, okay, I'm going to get my own water. I'm going to work on doing the dishes. I'm going to work on doing the laundry as I can. And in the beginning, that was enough. I was profusely sweating. I remember, like, embarrassing as this is I would take my stomach and like try to set it up onto the counter doing the dishes just to give a little back pain relief for myself. And it looked like I'd run a 5K. I'm just sweating doing these basic things at 360 pounds. That was more than enough to help me get some endurance, get strength and mobility back. This went on for a few weeks. I then started working on, probably about 3.5 weeks in, walking through the house. Just loops, laps, up, down stairs, just moving around as much as I could. And I want to really stress, this was difficult for me. When you are that overweight, these basic tasks are physically exhausting. Just honestly going up and down the stairs once would make me short of breath. Okay. At that point, about 4 weeks in, I'm like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to start pushing more. Taking the rollator out, Scott and I started walking to the mailbox. He was an absolute angel and supporting me, making sure I didn't push myself too hard because my back would hurt so bad. And I just started off a few houses. Sit on my walker, go a little bit more, sit on my walker, go a little bit more. Till eventually, after, I don't know, a week, I could go from the house to the mailbox. And then at about 6 weeks is when I gave the walker up. That was a big choice for me. My back still hurt. I was still short of breath and tired with walking, but I decided to do that because I was able to make it through the grocery store without having to sit down. So it took me about 6 weeks to get off the walker. Keep in mind though, my biggest limiting factor was my low back pain. And at that point I'd lost, I think, about 30 some pounds. That helped so much get that pain off my low back. All right, so going to the grocery store, no walker, got that down, check. Still a lot of effort, but I was doing it. Then I decided, well, if my back hurts from prolonged standing, what about bicycle riding? So I convinced Scott for us to get some bicycles, and then I started throwing bicycle riding in there. It was a great change of pace because I can sit down while I do it, take breaks when I need to. We took water with us, and I literally, my first time I rode, I made it half a mile. Quarter mile out, quarter mile back. And that was exhausting. And every day or every couple of days, I just got a little bit further and further. And this is key, taking little bites off. If you were as physically as bad shape as I was, it is so tempting to go from, oh, I can walk 2 houses to in a week, I'm going to try to walk a mile. Don't do it. Little steps at a time. It was these small steps that I finally realized, hey, after a couple weeks of bike riding, that quarter mile out, easy. Now I can do half a mile. And now I can do, a mile and 2 miles and 3 miles. And I think the longest Scott and I rode was 8 miles. I could go further now, but that's just the longest we've ridden so far. These small steps build our endurance, strengthens our muscles and our joints and our ligaments. And the biggest thing, our mind. Now I'm 2 months in. My brother had a paddleboard. I'm like, I like water. I like to swim. And what's the worst that's going to happen if I fall off the paddleboard? I'm just going to fall in the water. So I'm like 320 pounds at this point. Why the heck not? We went to Lake Padden. I did terrible. I could not get myself on the board unless I was standing on the ground, like at shore. But that was okay. I was determined I was going to do it. And that started my saga of paddleboarding. paddleboarded as frequently as I could. That was sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes 2 times a week, just depended. I was also walking the dogs every day at this point, only about a mile, but I was walking them every single day.
It's raining right now, but gonna walk the girls rain or shine.
I really want to emphasize how much my mentalness around moving had changed. The first couple weeks, the idea of moving literally was exhausting, just thinking about it. Now at 2 months, I'm like, man, getting in and out of the car is easy. Going to the grocery store is not too bad. Walking the dogs, I noticed I actually started to enjoy it. It wasn't a task I had to do. It was something I started to enjoy. It felt amazing. Being able to, 1, take care of myself, but 2, take care of the dogs, because walking them is vital for their health too, not just mine. From this point, from 2 months to 6 months, I just focused on walking and bike riding and paddleboarding and taking care of the dogs and doing a little bit more in the house every single day. Just a little bit more every single day. That was it. 1 week we'd walk a mile, and then maybe the next day I was feeling good, we'd walk 1.1 miles. And then the next week, 1.3 miles. And then 2 after a few weeks. Slowly increasing the distance. Oh man, the dogs loved it. Scott loved it. And about 6 months in, we started to actually go hiking. This was the best for me.
Oh, should have added 2 + 2. Hilltop Park means you're doing switchbacks up the mountain. This is where we're at. You can barely see the tip of our car all the way down at the bottom, and we're not even halfway.
I love outside. I love hiking and being able to do that. I have not been on an actual hike, and I can't tell you when. I mean, it has been so long to get out and go be with nature. The dogs loved it, being able to smell the green, the air. That was the best, I think, change for my mental health I could have done. Going from when I started this, using a walker, not leaving the house for months at a time, to now we're going hiking. Amazing. All of the small steps with my physical movements, doing these ADLs, these activities of daily living, has led to around month 6 that I decided I wanted to go to the gym, not to exercise. Okay, let me reiterate that, because I wanted to go and lift weights to get stronger, to improve my body, not to just burn energy, and doing things like racquetball. Scott and I play racquetball solely because we find it fun. We're terrible players. We make up our own rules, but it is so much fun. And that's the most important thing. If you do something strenuous, that's okay. Are you doing it to enjoy yourself? That is the key. Or are you doing it just to burn energy? That's a big difference for me in what I see as exercise. Yes, you could always argue going to the gym, lifting weights, racquetball, hiking's exercise. Sure, under a traditional view of it, but in Amanda's eyes, absolutely not exercise. Why? Because I get dopamine and serotonin from doing it because I enjoy it. Right? There are people out there who love running and jogging and that are healthy. Great, because I think it is wonderful for mental health if that's your thing, but not when you are 300 pounds and just walking is a friggin' chore. I just want to stress that so much, because Scott and I were talking about this when we were setting up to do this video, and he's like, that's the guidepost is moving. But the thing is it does. Right now, me walking even 2 miles, if I had thought about that day 1, oh my God, that would have just been too much. And now it's physically easy and I enjoy it. I would have not enjoyed it on my first couple months of doing carnivore. So the guidepost does move. Your body, as you lose weight and get healthier, you just want to do more. So don't use that as strenuous exercise you can't ever do. No, just focus on it being something enjoyable you love. Because here's the thing, if you do things that are strenuous, do things that are just to burn energy, those cortisol levels just go sky high. And I promise plateaus and weight loss stopping will happen because of that. And something really important Scott reminded me of. When we force ourselves to do things like exercise just to burn energy, eventually we will rebel against ourselves. We can only push ourselves to do things for so long before we're like, you know what, forget it, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore. That will lead to binges or eating off carnivore, which completely derails the entire journey. So I sit here now, 10 months and 3 weeks into my journey. I walk, I bike, I hike, I swim, I paddleboard, I lift weights, I play racquetball, hopefully tennis soon. We play disc golf. And the biggest thing Scott's most happy about, I do the dishes every single day. He doesn't have to do the dishes anymore. I do laundry, I vacuum. All of these activities of daily living is what got me to the biking, the hiking, the this, the that. Just the basic moving around is what strengthened me to do things that I actually enjoy and want to do. My last little statement. Exercise is not necessary to lose weight. Focusing on 2 things. What you eat and stress management, those are absolutely key.